I never thought a slice of life could taste different when shared with more than one flavor, but I suppose that's how things changed for me that summer in Santa Monica. My name is Jessica, and back then, I had a plan, a clean-cut, structured routine, carefully polished like the hardwood floors in my little beachside apartment. I worked in marketing, kept my pantry alphabetized, and made sure I never crossed lines or broke rules. But then I met Tyler, and then, unexpectedly, Evan. Tyler was the first. Smooth, confident, with a kind of charm that made people pause mid-sentence just to admire how he carried himself. We met at a local networking event, the kind I usually avoided. But that evening, my friend Riley had insisted I go. "You never know who you'll meet," she said with a wink, shoving a glass of sparkling water in my hand before disappearing into the crowd. I was standing by the refreshment table, picking at a fruit skewer, when Tyler approached. "Don't tell me you came here just for pineapple," he joked. His voice was smooth like honey, warm and easy. We talked for hours. Tyler worked in finance but had a surprising knack for storytelling. He made spreadsheets sound like adventures. Our first date was simple: coffee and conversation. But there was something so magnetic about him. He understood me. He knew when to listen, when to challenge me, and when to just let silence fill the space. For a while I thought maybe this was it. This was what satisfaction felt like. But then came Evan. I met Evan by accident. At a dog park, of all places. I was watching my neighbor's golden retriever for the weekend and had taken him for a stroll when Evan's German Shepherd bounded over and nearly knocked me off my feet. "Sorry. Max doesn't know his own strength," Evan called out, jogging over with an apologetic grin. Where Tyler was poised and polished, Evan was earthy and relaxed. He wore flannel in summer, worked as a freelance photographer, and smelled like pine and camera film. We ended up chatting on a bench while our dogs became fast friends. He asked questions, not just the small talk kind but the deep ones. About my dreams. My regrets. My childhood summers in Colorado. At first, I didn't think much of it. But Evan kept showing up, sometimes literally, bringing coffee to my door with a smile, or texting me a picture of a sunrise he thought I'd love. He made life feel spontaneous, alive. Where Tyler gave me stability, Evan gave me spark. The problem was, I wasn't ready to choose. I kept seeing both of them, platonically, at first. I convinced myself that it was fine. Tyler knew about my busy schedule and didn't pry. Evan never asked too many questions. I wasn't being dishonest. Not really. I was exploring. Learning. But eventually, my double life started feeling like a performance I couldn't keep up. One afternoon, I met Tyler for lunch, and we ended up walking through a farmer's market. He bought me sunflowers and kissed my forehead as we strolled. Hours later, I was watching a movie on Evan's couch, my head resting on his shoulder, his fingers brushing mine gently. The guilt came in waves, but the truth I couldn't ignore was this. One didn't satisfy me, because each brought out a different part of me I wasn't ready to let go of. I had to make a decision. Or maybe, more accurately, I had to understand myself before making one. I started journaling. Not just about them, but about me. What I wanted. What I feared. Why I felt incomplete even when things seemed perfect. I realized that for most of my life, I had chosen paths that looked good on paper. Tyler was exactly the kind of man I thought I was supposed to love. Evan, on the other hand, was the kind of man who challenged that notion completely. I decided to come clean. I called Tyler first. We met at the same coffee shop where our first date had taken place. His smile faltered slightly when he saw my expression. I took a deep breath and told him everything. Not just about Evan, but about how I had been searching for pieces of myself in both of them. To my surprise, he didn't get angry. Instead, he nodded slowly, eyes softening. "Jess, I appreciate your honesty. And I care about you, but if you're not all in, I can't be either." It was hard, watching him walk away. But it felt like exhaling after holding my breath for too long. Next, I talked to Evan. He was on his porch, barefoot, sipping lemonade. I sat beside him, heart racing. "I need to tell you something," I began. He listened quietly as I explained. His reaction was different, more contemplative. "I knew something was up," he said. "But I didn't want to ask. I figured you'd tell me when you were ready." I looked at him, unsure. "So, what now?" He smiled, not with judgment, but understanding. "Now we take a walk. And you figure out if the version of you like best is the one next to me." And that's exactly what we did. We walked for miles, talking about everything and nothing. The ocean breeze played with my hair, and for once, I didn't feel like I was being pulled in two directions. I felt whole. Not because I'd chosen one man over another, but because I had finally chosen myself. In the weeks that followed, I restructured my life. I started a photography blog, something Evan inspired me to do, and even enrolled in a short creative writing course. Tyler and I stayed in touch for a little while, exchanging occasional texts, both of us respectful, and moved on. Evan and I grew closer, not because I needed him, but because I wanted him. It's funny how life works. That summer taught me more about identity and self-worth than any relationship ever had. It wasn't about who could satisfy me. It was about discovering that no one person could complete me unless I was complete on my own. People sometimes ask me how I knew Evan was the one in the end. I tell them it wasn't about grand gestures or perfect dates. It was the little things. The way he listened. The way he waited. The way he encouraged me to explore parts of myself I had buried under years of obligation and routine. One didn't satisfy me, not because he wasn't enough, but because I hadn't been honest about what I needed. I thought I had to choose between stability and passion. But Evan helped me see that sometimes, life offers both. You just have to be brave enough to take the first step toward what truly feels right. So no, this story isn't about choosing two people at once. It's about learning that satisfaction comes from embracing the complexity of who we are, and finding someone who doesn't just accept it, but helps us celebrate it. And that kind of love. That's the real thing.